Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strike Zone with Manager George Tsamis. Strike Zone is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the St. Paul manager questions about the Saints, baseball or sports in general, or just seek George's wisdom about life or whatever issues may be affecting you these days. We're going to continue this program again heading through the off-season into next season's American Association campaign, so this will be a week back at the weekly program that we have going on. So we just want to let you know about that as George talks to us this week a little bit about what's going on in Major League Baseball, his impressions of the NFL season so far, and just a few other questions George answers for us about life issues that people wanted to pose to him this week. So let's get right to Strike Zone. Okay, so we want to welcome Manager George Tsamis back. George, it's been a month since the season ended, so we want to kind of start back with a show. A lot of people have been interested in doing that this season, kind of getting your weekly take on things. But I wanted to give an opportunity for you to talk a little bit about the season, how you thought about the finish, things that you just took away from this year.
You know, it was a season that it was a great season. I'm so proud of the way the guys played, and you know, to go 74-26, and I mean that's pretty tough to do. And I don't care what level it is. If you're in the big leagues and little league, you know, in our league it's 74-26. It was an excellent season, and the guys came to play every day. And again, you know, I've said it to you a few times here over the season, and you don't need to have the best players to win. You need to have the right guys, and I felt we had the right guys, and great season. It was just a tough ending, and I mean, we played an excellent team in the playoffs, and they just played a little bit better in that series.
You really built a team, I thought, this year that kind of matched your personality in terms of, especially the way that you just go about your business, and there's never really a too high or a too low about everything. It's just a focus on doing things the right way. Is that the model that you're seeking for each season?
Yeah, we do. We try to do it the right way, and you know, you can watch games. I mean, you watch games on TV all the time, baseball, football, and a lot of players do it the right way, and there's enough of players that don't do it the right way, but we try to do it the right way, and you know, have these guys play the game hard, play it the right way. And but again, you want guys that care about winning. You want guys that hurt when they lose, and we had that, and you need to see more of it. I think you need to see more of it in the sports world, because there are a lot of guys that are happy to be out there. It seems like there's a lot of players in sports today. They're just happy to have a uniform on, and you don't want to have guys like that. You want guys that are excited to be out there, hungry, want to win, and when things don't go right, it bugs you. And you know, those are the kind of guys you want on your team.
How hard is it for you? I mean, how many days or weeks does it take to kind of go, wow, this is over?
Yeah, it's tough, and you know, a month off would be nice, and I wish we could get started again. But we have 7 more to go, and which is you know, it's tough. And yeah, it's again the series, losing the series was painful, obviously, and it still hurts. And I mean, Michael Lang is going to haunt me for the rest of my life. That throw when he threw out Nate Hansen at home plate, that was one of the better throws you'll ever see. And you know, never going to get over it, and that's the way it should be. You want guys that, you know, hurt when you lose, and I certainly do. And it was a good series. You know, we pitched well, and they pitched well too. They held us to 7 runs in 4 games, and I know game 2, yeah, that was one game they smashed us around, and it was just one of those days, and it was 1 loss. But the other 3 games, they were all tight games, close games, and you know what? They had one more big hit than we did, and they made one more big play than we did. And again, Michael Lang throwing Nate Hansen out from where he threw him out when the ball was, you know, to his right, and when the ball was hit, I thought it was for sure a run. We tied the game, but he went over and made a great play, and they just made one more great play than we did. And it's Michael Lang with, like I said, he's going to haunt me forever. So it was a tough one.
You talked about before the season that while you knew that CHS Field was going to be a big draw for you this season, you actually thought next season would be the bigger draw because people had heard more about it, that the information would have gotten around. Do you actually expect, kind of in a way, that the next year's team could actually somehow be better than the one you put together this year?
I don't know. It'd be tough to be better because again, 74 and 26 is something, and Sioux City 75 and 25 was outstanding. And again, we were in the lead for a while, then they were in the lead, then we were in the lead, and then they finished with a better record by one game. And but it's I think the recruiting of the players, especially the ones that have come in and seen it. You know what? You can talk about how good your stadium is and how nice it is, and you can look at pictures and you can look at all that stuff and hear all that stuff. And when you do look at it, you look at the pictures. It's like, oh, this is a nice place, but it doesn't do justice until you walk into the park and to see what it's all about. And CHS Field, the most beautiful stadium I've ever seen, the minor league stadium I've ever seen, and it has. I've said this to you several times. It has such a big league feel to it, and it's a big league stadium. It's just smaller. It's a smaller big league stadium. It doesn't seat 30, 40,000 people. It's the 8,000 fans we got every night, and down the stretch too, and in the playoffs they were so loud and into it, and the positive energy that the fans had. Who wouldn't want to play for the Saints, and who wouldn't want to play for us in that stadium?
I have to say, I was kind of surprised that the field wasn't named the American Association Ballpark of the Year. I haven't figured that one out.
Well, it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful field, but Lincoln's been beautiful too, and Lincoln has a beautiful field, and it's a beautiful stadium as well. And there's some other nice stadiums as well too. Lincoln and Kansas City and Winnipeg and Gary. They're all beautiful places. And yeah, it would have been it would have been nice, but Lincoln's been very deserving of having it as well because again, they have a beautiful setup there as well.
I would assume that one of the hardest parts for you this off season will be the keeping together of some of these guys. Mike Zuzalek already signed with the Baltimore Orioles organization. So I know you're not actually trying to keep guys if they can go to affiliate ball, but are there some ideas of who you might know is going to move to affiliate ball so you can work off of that at this point?
Well, first with Zuzalek, he just talked about a guy that deserved it. He was pretty dominant, and he dominated right-handed hitters as well, and we're very happy that he got the opportunity, and I hope he can go there and make a team out of spring training with the Orioles, and I hope he gets a chance to go play in Double-A. I'm not sure what the plans are, if he would go to Double-A or go to A-ball. I'm really not sure, but this is a player that deserved the opportunity because he took advantage of his chance with us, and I'm just surprised it didn't happen a little bit earlier because I thought during the season we were going to lose him because a couple people had asked, and obviously we recommended him, and and I hope there are more guys that get a chance. Like Dustin Crenshaw, for example, he's a guy that 14-2 with a 2.43 ERA. This is a guy that's been one of the top starters in our league the last 2 years. I mean, and he walked 7 guys in 137 innings, and I don't think I've seen that anywhere. If you can tell me if somebody that walked 7 guys in 137 innings, you hardly ever see that, and I wish somebody would give him a chance. He's not the 93, 94 mile per hour guy. He's an 88 to 90 mile per hour guy, but it's just been so good the last 2 years, and you just hope that he gets a chance and somebody brings him in. And this is a guy that works hard and goes about his business the right way, and with him too. Along with him, Rodabaugh had an excellent season for us. He was pretty dominant all year long. I think he blew 2 saves all year, and he has a little time in AAA too. And I think he's in the same boat with the 88 to 90 mile per hour fastball. That it just seems like organizations, they look for those 93, 95 mile per hour guys, and if you're not one, they pass. But hopefully somebody will give them an opportunity. And then from the offensive side, Vinny DeFazio was MVP of the league, and what a season he had! Almost won the Triple Crown, and the thing with him, he was pretty clutch. His hits weren't with nobody on base. He was clutch. He came up a lot of times. The guys on base got some big hits, and I'm very happy for him. He won the MVP. But Angelo Sanko was right behind him too, and that's another guy that deserved a shot too. And that's another guy that if he would have won the MVP, you wouldn't have been surprised. I know it's called Player of the Year, but in my little world, I'm going to call it the MVP. But Sanko's another guy that, was so clutch. I think they both drove in, 82 runs, I believe it was.
Yes,
They led the league, and it's just they both had excellent seasons, and both guys hustle. Both guys truly care about winning, and you know, it was nice that they both ended up with 82 RBIs to lead the league, and Vinny hit 361, Sonko hit 339, and that our beautiful stadium fits Sonko perfectly with that beautiful left-handed swing he has, and with the short porch we have in right. So it's both guys. You hope they get a chance. They deserve a chance, but if they don't, we would love to have back both of them.
You also got to like DeFazio and Sonko, always with a smile on their face too. So
absolutely, always with a smile. And the thing is, again, it's something you don't see enough. You don't see it in the big leagues enough. You don't see in other teams in our league. The hustle they have, they hustle, and that's something that it's nice to see. This time, I think Sonko led our team in triples, and this is our cleanup hitter, our number 4 hitter, number 5 hitter. I believe he had 6 triples, that led our team. Well, how does that happen? How does it happen with him leading our team in triples? Because he hustles, because he runs. He strips singles into doubles. There's time he comes out of the box so hard, and then when he gets that hit in the left center or right center, you see him rounding first, and you're like, okay, no, don't go, no, and then he keeps going, and then he makes it into a double. And then once he's halfway, instead of saying no, you're going go. So it's great to have his hustle and Vinny's as well too.
There has to be some surprise based upon the way that the season worked out that Laredo wound up being the champion. No insult to them in any way, but I think 3 teams finished with significantly better records than them, but just a great run that they got on.
You know what? They got hot. We saw them earlier in the season, and they made some changes. They got a couple guys from Mexico, and the one guy they got, Travis Denker, we saw him last year, and he was one of the better players in the league. And they made some stretches here down. They made some changes down the stretch, and they got hot. And they had some quality hitters in that lineup. They had AA, AAA guys, and they pitched well, and they got hot at the right time. And it's the way it worked out. And people talk about, okay, well, Sioux City and us, we had great seasons, and Wichita had a great second half as well. They got hot too, and but only one team can be the champion, and it was Laredo, and they played the best down the stretch.
I thought the way that Pete Incaviglia ran his bullpen in the playoffs was just a stroke of genius.
Well, you know what? He brought his closer in the 6th inning in a playoff game, and the guy pitched 4 innings, and it was pretty outstanding. Was that Game 5 in Wichita? Were you at that game?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Okay. Well, you don't see that every day where you bring your closer in the 6th inning, and he did. Obviously, I didn't pay much attention to it at the time because I was probably crying about our losing, so I was kind of down and out, and I really didn't follow it too closely. But I did see the four perfect innings. Is that what it was with?
Correct.
Yes. Rebia, and that could be the main reason why they won that series and won the championship. He was outstanding for them in the playoffs.
So now that you head into the off season here, what is the off season like for you personally?
Well, this month it's a slow one. You're always looking. We're always looking to improve the team and get players, and we have it's just a slow month because of October, November. It's not really that busy of a time. But once the minor league free agent list comes out in November, we'll see who's free agents, and then it's a free for all. It's a competition on who can get the players and who can get them to come. And but again, I think players that have seen our stadium and seen how beautiful it is, and word gets around how nice this place is, how nice it is with us, and we think that will help. And so from this being out there already, it's like I said, it's been a month, and it's about time to get back out there again.
You're going to be doing some other things with yourself this off season, other than just managing and finding players for your team. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've been giving some pitching lessons, and I've had a couple people approach me about doing some speaking engagements. So I'll be doing that, and I think I'll be back in Minnesota. Hopefully sooner than later to give some lessons and to do some speaking, and so we will see. anything to keep you busy, you know, because again, you miss being out there. It's nice to have a few weeks off, but you know, after you're not doing this every day like you've been doing it the last 5 months, you kind of miss it, and especially when you have a successful season, an exciting season, and it's just like all of a sudden it just ended after being there from the beginning of May.
Now, there were a lot of fans who wrote in asking questions related to the season, and I've kind of grouped those together in this discussion. But a lot of people had questions heading out of the Saints specific kind of information, and so I want to kind of clump those together here, too, to talk to you about a few other things. First of all, looking at the Major League Baseball playoffs, which I'm assuming you maybe have a few extra minutes now to watch,
Yep.
Who do you see as some key teams to watch for, and what do you think are some difference makers for you?
You know what? Well, first of all, it's too bad because the Twins, you know, they came down right to the very end, and they had a real good season, and you know, just a win here and there, and they could have been in it, and it's too bad because they came real close, and it would have been nice if they could have snuck in there, and that just shows you, you know, games in April are just as important as games in September, and you know, I know they got hot there in the second half a little bit, and it's too bad they didn't get in. But you know what? You know, the Blue Jays seem to be the people's favorite to come out of the American League until this last few weeks. You know, in the last few days or the last week where they've lost a few games and lost the home field to the Royals. But you know, the Blue Jays, if they didn't win the American League, I mean, it would be, I guess, a kind of a surprise, I guess. But Kansas City's always, I mean, they're so tough too. So one of those two, I would think. And then in the National League, you know what? I would love to see the Mets or the Cubs get into the World Series. But the Cardinals, you know what? They're very quietly. They find ways to get it done. They win all the time. So if the Cardinals were in the World Series, I guess that wouldn't surprise anyone because they always seem to get it done.
Actually, I think in that National League, I don't think anybody would be surprised to see any one of those 5 teams go.
I agree. But you know what? I'm hoping that the Mets or the Cubs can get in because, I mean, the Cubs especially, they're exciting to watch. And, you know, Mr. Arrieta he's something else the second half. Every game he goes out there and dominates. And but the Mets have some pretty good pitchers too. But the Mets have they have a tough time with. They got Kershaw and Greinke the first 2 games, so you said it right. Whichever one of the teams in the National League gets to the World Series, I guess it won't be a surprise.
You talked a little bit about the Minnesota Twins season. Really, kind of a big surprise. I would assume nobody thought that this team was going to be fighting for a playoff spot. Do you see some things about the team there that really kind of stuck out on you and how they played baseball this season?
You know, they played the game the right way, and they they have some young guys coming up, and I guess the third baseman's going to be something else, huh?
Miguel Sano,
I guess he's going to be something else. Yeah, he that's a nice little rookie year he had when he got called up, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
He'll be a special player for a long time, and but yeah, nobody expected them to be anywhere close, and then they were. So you just never know in this game because last year nobody expected the Royals to do what they did, and this year I don't think anybody picked the Mets to even make the playoffs, and the Cubs. I think people are surprised that they got in. So you just never know in this, and it should be an exciting playoffs.
One of the things that I thought you would find personally kind of fulfilling, let's just say, for baseball is the fact that, I mean, if I looked at Pittsburgh and St. Louis and even the Cubs and the Mets, Kansas City, no real stars to those teams. I mean, it's just the guys that really play baseball the right way. I thought that was kind of your style of ball if you really got down to it.
You know what? I agree with you. You don't need the superstars. You just need to have a good chemistry and you need good players. You can't just go out there with, okay, hey, we have a lot of good guys on our team and we're going to go win. You need to have good players, but maybe you don't need the superstars. You just need a bunch of good, solid players that gel together and play the game the right way and play hard. And again, that's what it seemed like we had, you know. Coming into our season, Ian Gack, you know, he came off the great year with the 349, 27 home runs coming into our season. He was the one guy that, okay, he came off a great year, but other than him, nobody really came off a great year. There were some decent years, and these guys just played together well, and we had an excellent season. And the thing is, it started from day one. I mean, I believe we swept that first series against Fargo and just went on a roll, and it was fun from day one.
Switching from baseball a little bit, moving on to the NFL at this point, some impressions you have so far of the NFL season?
The Packers are pretty good, huh?
Yes, they are.
The quarterback's pretty good, but you know what? Watch out for the Vikings. They're 2-2, okay, and they on the first game they bombed. Big deal though. It's you lose by 1 or you lose by 30, one loss, and they played well the next 2 weeks, and they took Denver yesterday. Was what 2020 right there at the end, and they lost a tough one in Denver against a real good team. And watch the Vikings. I think they're gonna make some noise in this, and their schedule coming up. They have like 5 winnable games coming up, and until they go play the Packers again. And I hope that they can put it together here and play like they did their first 2 home games. And but the Packers will be a tough team to beat, and it's early in the season, and the Patriots, I guess they're pretty good too. Their quarterback's pretty good too, and,
yes,
and their coach is the best. And so, last year after Week 4, everybody was ruling the Patriots out and Brady should retire, and look what he did. So it's early in the season. It's 4 games in, and as we talk over the winter here, we'll see how this goes. But the Packers will be tough. The Vikings are going to be dangerous, and they're going to be sneaky where nobody's looking at them, and they're going to sneak right in there, and then we'll see who plays the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
I know you talked a little bit when we were in the baseball season about how you thought kind of the Patriots were getting a raw deal in lots of ways. So is there some personal satisfaction for you seeing them roll out the way that they are?
I've always liked Tom Brady, just like I've always liked, how can you not like Aaron Rodgers as well? But, people said they did this, they did that, and they went out there and beat everybody. And I think they kind of made Tom Brady a little mad here because he has been outstanding to start this season. And they're an exciting team to watch. And, a New England Green Bay Super Bowl would sound pretty good. But again, I'm pulling for the Vikings. I hope they can, nobody's talking about them. Get sneaky here and sneak right in there, and we'll see what happens.
What are your impressions of Adrian Peterson so far?
He's doesn't he lead the league in rushing?
I believe so. He had a huge game yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know they bottled him up a little bit, and then he had that one big run that kind of broke loose. But he's something else. He's going to be his typical self, and it's something that, even though I didn't get to see much of the games yesterday because I went to see my daughter pitch up at college. They had a game yesterday, so she pitched, and I went up to see her. But I really enjoy watching the NFL games, and it should be another exciting season, and we'll see how it turns out.
Well, George, thank you very much for joining us this week.
No problem. Thank you.
We want to thank George Tsamis for joining us on Strike Zone this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask the Saints manager, please send them to us at askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. That's askgeorge@minorleaguesportsreport.com. Once again, the program will be airing each week during the off-season, heading into next season's American Association campaign. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn what's going on with the Saints and just learn a little bit about what George has going on during the off-season. I am Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report. I want to thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week on Strike Zone.